YouTube. There we go. We did it. We're live on both. This is awesome. So I have some special friends on YouTube, and then I'm about to have a special friend on Instagram, which will be pretty awesome too. So YouTube, we've upped our game again. So we have added Cindy, who is our amazing American Sign Language translator. So we're going to have her sign with us today, and we're going to see how this works. We're trying stuff. We don't know. We're making it happen. And then I have my friend Colleen with us too, and I think if she gets on Instagram and clicks join, then we'll be able to add her too. So we'll see how this works. But I'm so glad everybody's here and jumping on. This will be great. So yeah, so Colleen, you'll just request to join on the Instagram, and then you'll be live on both, which will be amazing. So we're all learning new technology. This will be really good.
I did already.
So did you ask? I don't see you. All right, hang on. Maybe she already did it. Oh, there it is. Boom. She was ahead of the game. I wasn't paying attention. It's my fault, guys.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Let's see. She's getting on. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Yeah, we did it. This is great.
Let's do it.
This is so fun. Hi, Colleen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. This is just going to be, we're going to see how this works. I'm seeing all sorts of faces on my screen. Hi, everybody. We're so glad you are here. This is going to be amazing. So, opening question, as always, with an emoji. How are you doing right now? Using only an emoji, how are you doing? So, Colleen, I'm curious, if you were only using an emoji, what's your emoji right now?
I would do the hug emoji.
The hug emoji? Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like we all need that right now.
Warm and fuzzy,
right?
Loved. Yeah.
I think that would be really, really important. Let's see. I think I am feeling the sunglasses emoji because the weather has been amazing and I want to be outside. Oh, Colleen fell over on Instagram.
Some technical difficulty. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine.
I think the sunglasses emoji because it's been really fun to be outside and see what's going on. We did a dance party with our neighbors where I just played music really, really loud and they all danced in the cul-de-sac. That was great. I felt really good about that. What's up, Jaden? I see you. All right, I see hug emojis, sunglasses emojis, sleeping emojis. These are great. Hi, Amelia. This is so good. All right, upside down smileys. A like sideways face emoji. I don't know what that one's officially called. It's like the I'm okay emoji, maybe.
Is that the meh? No, that's not the meh.
No. Balloons, a cowboy hat? I think I see a cowboy hat action. Lots of sleepy emojis. This is really fun. Yes, the Wells are saying the dance party was great. Shout out to the Wells family because they had some dance moves that I did not know about, and it was pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. So I was glad I was not dancing, but just playing music. So I see a lot. Oh no, a crying face emoji, popcorn emoji. Maybe they've been watching a lot of movies. I don't know. We'll see. That'll be good. So hi everybody. Clown emoji. No, that's a wrong answer. I don't know. Maybe you're being a clown. I don't know if anybody likes clowns. Maybe they do, but maybe they don't. We'll see. All right, next question, because I'm curious. What is your favorite movie of all time? Favorite movie of all time. This one, I never liked this question because I like a lot of movies, but let's see. Maybe Princess Bride.
Okay.
It's heartwarming. It's funny. It's family friendly. Yeah. You can watch it 1,000 times. What about you? What are you thinking?
I love movies too. I am thinking about a lot. I would say probably of all time ever invented, Good Will Hunting.
Ooh.
Good movie. Good movie. Yeah. So that's like going to be more from our older generation here, guys. But it's definitely worth a. I don't know if it's on Netflix or Prime Video, but it's definitely worth a watch.
You would be
Absolutely worth.
surprised because they all have access to all movies ever now.
Right, right,
So
exactly. So I'm just saying, like, that's definitely one to look into. It also, somebody said Tangled. I love it. Guys and Dolls, Pillow
I'm
Talk.
seeing
Oh, Jody.
Hairspray,
Oh,
Tinkerbell,
this one's so
Knives
good.
Out, Guys and Dolls. These are good. Avengers Endgame,
Ooh, I haven't seen
Spaceballs.
that.
I see you,
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. The Good Dinosaur. Um,
Oh, I love that movie. That one's so good. Frozen 2, Amelia.
yes, this is good. Princess Bride is good. I agree. Um, let's see.
Sweet Home.
Sweet Home Alabama. Yes. Oh man, this is great. Trying to see what else we got floating on there. The Tower. I don't know if I've said Tower. Lord of the Rings.
Endgame.
Endgame. Annabelle. I think that's a. Is that a horror movie?
I don't know.
I don't know. Another shout out for Spaceballs. I think that's the same person just posting it again. Full Out. Scooby Doo 2. Yes.
Monsters Unleashed.
Ratatouille. That's a good one. That's really good. All right, next question, because this brings up it's hard to pick a movie, but maybe we can pick a genre. So
Okay.
I'm curious what your favorite genre of movies is. It's like a rom-com, a comedy, a thriller.
Yeah. No. This is so
Action.
weird. Okay, I'm going to tell it to you, but it's kind of weird. Okay,
I'm
so
excited.
no judgment. I really like true crime.
Really?
Yes. You know what? I think it's because it's so like the antithesis of who I am in like my day-to-day life, right? Like
Uh-huh.
it's so different and it has all sorts of psychology that goes underneath it, you know? So I really like kind of like really like that based on a true story, kind of
Yeah.
Lifetime movie-ish,
Interesting.
you know?
That's really fascinating.
Drama.
Do you like those podcasts too?
Yes.
Okay.
I love Keith Morrison. I would love to meet him
I'm
someday.
not surprised. I think I'm gonna. This might be not a shocker for people, but comedy, hands down.
Yeah.
And I like the old school silly stuff too. So like Three Amigos, Tommy Boy, Black Sheep.
Tommy Boy's such a good movie. Yes. Yeah.
All of those. We're getting some good answers in here. Let's see.
Oh, Christmas Hallmark. Look at that.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
Musicals, yes. Romance, action, comedy, action, drama. Who done it? Good chick flick. I see you, Jody. PBS Kids, definitely comedy. Sci-fi.
Yes.
Seeing a lot of sci-fi over on YouTube. Dystopian. And we're getting really fancy over here.
Interesting. Look at that.
Comedy, horror. Yeah, that. I don't know why, but I have never liked horror movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I played college football, which meant a lot of time on a bus, and everybody picked movies, and they loved horror movies, which meant I had my headphones in a lot. It's just not like if I'm going to choose a movie, which there are plenty of movies, that's just not my go-to. I know some people absolutely love them, but I don't know why. It's just not. I got a good comedy. I'm even good with a rom-com. I don't know if I could go Hallmark, but rom-com.
I don't like to be scared by surprise. I think that's my challenge with is I don't like to be scared by surprise.
That makes sense.
Like out of nowhere, somebody jumps out of something and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, next question, movie related as well. What is your favorite preference in watching a movie? Do you want to stream it, maybe on your phone or device or on TV? Do you like DVD, Blu-ray with like home theater type thing, or going to a theater, which I know is not an option right now, but if you get to choose, what's your option?
I'm going to stream it.
Yeah?
I'm going to have stream it at my house. My
Okay.
own popcorn, my own candy, my own Diet Coke, you know. on my own television. I like to stream it.
That's
Hmm.
awesome. I
Yeah.
get that because that's comfortable. But have you been to the theaters with the recliners?
Now, yes, I have the ones that serve you dinner, like at the yeah, and you'd be like, I'd like some steak and potatoes, and they're
Yeah, I'm
like,
not mad
well,
about those.
no, neither am I. And I saw Frozen 2, Amelia, there, and I saw Trolls the movie. I think when Trolls first came out,
Yep.
maybe, maybe, and then we saw one other one there, and it's pretty nice, pretty nice. I mean, it's you're reclining. There's no joke in that. So yeah.
Nice. Well, that is awesome. Let's look at some of our people and see what they are saying.
Mhm.
Um, with Cameron, I guess that's a way of watching it. Phone or TV, going to the theater depends on the movie. I see, and that makes sense. Dolby theater, streaming, dine-in theater,
Mhm.
um, Blu-ray, couple Blu-rays, couple streams on the YouTube, theater, Blu-ray. Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. Interesting. Fun fact: right now at our house, we have nothing that you can put a disc into. We don't have a CD player. We don't have a DVD player. We don't have a
Hmm.
Blu-ray. Our computers don't have discs that you can put in. So everything we do is streamed or going to the theater. So who knows? But yeah, I see Amelia says she likes to go to the movies. I feel you.
Okay,
Okay.
why don't you have anything with a disc?
Oh, I just don't. I really prefer convenience over anything. That's a good catch. I missed that. I just the convenience. So I haven't like Spotify is kind of my go-to for music. So even in the car, I don't use CDs, and streaming. So the less I have to deal with, the better.
Yeah,
So if I can grab my phone and my laptop and then I'm done, then that's awesome.
yeah.
So it's crazy. I don't know, but and we have we don't watch a lot of TV, but when we do, we just like Hulu, Netflix type idea. So Mary Kay says they even have an old school VCR. I see you.
That's
I might
awesome.
still have some old school VCR
Tape,
tapes
tapes.
that I need to figure out how to convert. So maybe we can figure that out.
Tell
So
tell the kids what the tape is. I mean, if they don't know,
yeah,
like,
so if you've ever seen a cassette tape, then they're like big versions of those that played movies. And I have some home movies that maybe at some point during this quarantine we can show some old family movies from the Cummings household where we
yeah.
recreated the Christmas story and the Thanksgiving story, and they are awful and great. And you can hear the camera zoom in and out. Like you hear
Yeah.
zzz, and it does this, and then zzz.
That's awesome.
It's pretty funny. So this is amazing. Um, oh, the Flemings have VCRs too. I mean, it still works. I'm not mad about it. It's just not something that I do. So, well, Colleen, I wanted to take a second and just let you like share about who you are because we are excited to have you because you are one of our amazing village people and amazing small group leaders. But I don't know if everybody knows who you are, what you do, a little bit about you. So
Yeah.
I'm going to let you take it away for a second.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
is
I'm really
Colleen?
excited. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yay. Sorry for all the drama with my phone earlier. I was trying to get the pop socket situation settled. Anyway, I was teaching before I came here and I had kind of a similar setup. And then, anyway, didn't work out quite. So thanks for your grace. I think we're stable now. Um, I am Colleen and I live in Nolensville in McFarland Point. And I grew up in Nashville. I went to Hillsborough High School and I went to Belmont for college. And I graduated from Belmont and went away to grad school and then came right back home. And I married my high school sweetheart, although we were not together in college. But I married him after I got back from grad school. And we have three kids, Paul, Georgia, and baby June. And she's not a baby anymore. She's a toddler now, but many of you know them. And certainly they know you all. And let's see, for a job, I work for a company called Fired Up Productions, and I've been with them pretty much since our inception. And we are a small firm that works in higher education. We work a lot with fraternities and sororities and nonprofit organizations to help their organizations grow. We do that through technology, education, and marketing and design. And I'm a senior staff member there, and my role changes all the time. I work part-time, so about 3 days a week, and I do everything from coaching our young staff on how to do their job all the way to selling and managing big major contracts of five figures and 6 figures and above. And then my favorite part of my job is doing education and training. And I train on things from mental health to retaining and engaging members to relationship building to conflict resolution, all different types of stuff that has to do with the heart. And I'm really grateful that I get to do that work. And I work a lot with, 18 to 25-year-olds and then young executives. And it's a huge blessing. And I really love it. I really love my job. So
That's so cool. And a little behind the scenes, you were actually doing that literally right before we got on this call.
legit. I was with University of Tennessee, Knoxville. And if any of you seniors are going there, I want you to know the institution is preparing for you. I was helping them do that. So right before we got on the call, I was chit-chatting with them, and they're ready, getting ready. I know orientation's online, but they're getting ready. So.
That is awesome. I always like to ask this question. Do you have any special talents?
I do have a special talent. First of all, look at Cindy's baby, everybody. Okay, how cute is that thing?
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, Cindy is flaunting her new little one.
Oh my gosh, you're so cute. I saw you when you were in Mommy's tummy. Look at you. Okay, my special talent. Are y'all ready? It's so gross. Okay, okay, don't be too grossed out, but just lean in. Okay. So when I was growing up, my mom had double jointed fingers, and I was so fascinated by it. And I used to try and practice all the time to get my fingers to be double jointed. And are you ready? Check this out.
Yes.
Weird. I don't know if you try it. Don't try it at home.
Can everybody else do it?
Can anyone else do that? Now look, Chris has got one in the middle. Yeah, mine can do that too. Oh, wow. So anyway, I don't know if it's, oh, look at that. Oh,
hello.
I don't want to do that finger. I don't know if it's genetic or if I just literally willed my joints in there. I wish, you know what I wish my one superpower was? I wish I could raise an eyebrow with lower, you know what I mean? I can't do it. Can you do it? You did it.
I can only do one though.
Oh, you can only do your left side or your right. All right. Yeah.
Left side. I don't know. The screen flips and it's.
I think it would be so good for dramatic effect.
Right? Yeah, when you're like, what?
Yeah.
You could also rip off your glasses. Apparently that's a.
Yeah, throw them on the ground. Yeah.
This is amazing. I love that. That's so good. So I'm wanting to ask everybody this during our odd times that we find ourselves. I'm kind of curious, what are you learning about yourself right now?
Listen, y'all, COVID-19 is so weird. This time is so weird. Everybody keeps saying that. They say things like unprecedented. And it's so strange. And, for the foreseeable future, an abundance of caution, right? And my family has done this before, Chris. Shelter in place. When I was a young woman and pregnant with my first child, we learned he was going to be born with congenital heart disease, and that he was going to need surgery when he was born several times. And the doctors told us that we would need to shelter in place. And that, for me, didn't just mean, I was worried about his heart. Please don't misunderstand me. But I was really concerned about my loss of my loss of agency. What do you mean shelter in place? I can't just up and go to Chick-fil-A when I want to. I can't just leave and go up to, take a class here or there, go get coffee with a friend. Or what do you mean I have to shelter? See, it's so bad. I'm sneezing out. God bless you. Oh my gosh. Okay. How weird is that? It's live TV, guys. So you have to shelter in place. What does that even mean? And I had 20 weeks to prepare for that. I had 20 weeks to get all the Netflix and all the bottled water. I had my nails done and the like big bottles of skincare products, you know what I mean? And I told everybody, we're sheltering in place. And like we had a meal train and we had all this stuff. And you didn't have that. So
Not this time.
it was like, yeah, yeah. You didn't have that. I mean, man, it was like, yeah, everything's fine. And then nothing was fine just in an instant. And so you asked me, what am I learning about myself? Well, I'm really trying hard to not just be sympathetic, but empathetic to what everybody is experiencing right now, and to imagine no preparation. Right? It's with it. I'm learning. I identify as an introvert. I'm an introverted extrovert, and I'm learning that that is true. That I have a lot of energy during this time, lots of time to reflect and love. And I also have a wonderful spouse that is taking some of the load, you know. But I am learning that that is absolutely how I identify. And I think, um, you know, I am learning to that when I have more space to stop doing so much stuff, that I have more space to think and be with my thoughts. And when I allow myself to do that and not be afraid of that, can be scary sometimes. You're alone with yourself and you're like, oh, did I just think that? That's terrible. But I also am able to then see the need in front of me, or see the desire in front of me, or look to, you know, how I can be a vessel, you know, be the hands and feet of Jesus, right? And I'm not perfect at it by any stretch of the imagination, but I found in this time I'm learning that that silence is super important, actually. And that, quite frankly, I probably need to slow down.
I think that's interesting because a lot of times we choose no silence and we actually try to fill it as much as possible. And I'm finding myself doing that even sheltering in place. That I'm doing everything I can to not be silent. And it's in the silence that I think we can actually hear what's really going on. And I think that's maybe why we don't want it. Because sometimes it can be hard. And sometimes our emotions tell us things about ourselves that we would like to ignore, but we need to pay attention to.
Right.
So I think that's so fascinating that this is not a new experience for you.
No,
in many
not
ways.
at all.
I don't think that's true for many for many people. So I think you have some wisdom that maybe you can share with us that maybe we need. So I'm curious, like, what would you share? What would you tell us about this, since this isn't your first go around?
Yeah, I mean, I think your instinct, and even mine during this one, because I was like, you know, your instinct is to be like, okay, what do I need to do during this time? Like, I need to do something. I'm going to write that book. I'm going to run that marathon. I'm going to clean out that closet. I'm going to learn to really violin, bring it home, you know, whatever it is. Your instinct is to feel like I got to do all the things, right? And the reality is that that's okay. You go for it if those are things you want to do, but you're surviving a pandemic right now. Like, shelter in place, it means like to stop and stay where you are and survive, get through it, right? And so you have to be gentle to yourself and kind to yourself. And that is my biggest advice. And it sounds kind of like Lulu, but like legit. Pick one thing to do every day that you know you can accomplish. Maybe two, right? If you're feeling frisky, maybe three. One thing.
But don't feel that frisky.
Don't feel no. I didn't mean like frisky. I meant like.
Well, no, I mean like don't feel like you have to achieve. Like, it's okay to do the one thing. Yeah.
High schoolers, not college students. Okay, and middle schoolers. Carry on. So, but like, if you're feeling good, do three things, right? But do that thing, and maybe one day it's taking a shower, and maybe one day it's like finishing the paper that was pseudo assigned to you, right, in your online packet. And maybe one day it is like creating an amazing work of art. And then the next day it's just like, well, I got out of bed and I had some good breakfast. But those little things, just celebrate those and be kind to yourself and be gentle to yourself, and know that, like, here's the thing. In life, but in particular in a trauma crisis, a pandemic, right, a shelter-in-place situation, every single person is doing the best that they can in that moment. Everybody. And maybe it's like, not that great right then. And that's okay. Like, we have to assume that everybody is trying their best.
I think that is really helpful because I'm sure we all saw this, that immediately it was like, well, what are you going to achieve now that you have all this free time?
Right. Yeah.
And I think I've seen less and less of that as it has gone on
Oh,
because
right.
people
People are
more and more have
like,
been like, oh, this isn't free time. This is a pandemic. This is different. But I do want to shout out Megan Dummer. She said she does shower every day, I think. So you
yeah,
did it.
Megan,
Well done.
congratulations.
Proud of
High
you.
five, sister. Good job. Yeah. And I think if you do create some things, right? We have a youth that has created some incredible things, right, on his digital printer, and his sister is so awesome. She's an 8th grader, anyway. But like that's great. Like, go for it, dude. Like, that's awesome. I think you should create if that's what you're led to do and what you're called to do. But don't pressure yourself like to do whatever.
Yeah. No, I think that is very wise to just give yourself some grace, some patience, to take care of each other and ourselves. I think is really, really important because we are really good at putting pressure on ourselves and have been since before this. We live in that culture of just like achieve, achieve, achieve. So this is a whole new thing. So we'll figure that out. Real quick correction. Megan said, please tell the teenagers to shower every day. So please shower every day. You're a teenager. You smell bad. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's
don't change.
Okay.
Ever. Yeah.
So I'm curious. We talked a little bit ahead of this, and I was trying to figure out through your experience up until now of sheltering in place and stuff, was there something that helped you in your like connect with God through all of this? Because not only is sheltering in place in general hard, but you are also dealing with a child having heart surgery.
Yeah.
So what was helpful?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think that, right. So, like, I'll just be totally vulnerable with you and say, like, it's so easy to be angry at God, isn't it? Isn't it? Just say to him, why did you do this? Or what did you create here? It's so easy to say, I don't like this, or this is not for me, or if you were really for me, then this would have happened. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay to feel that. And I think, as the pastor said this morning, I love that guy. I can't think of his name, but anyway, Alex. That was a great sermon. Thank you, Alex. Yep. And what did he say? You talk to him like your father, right? And I did that often. Like, I often was like, what is wrong here, right? Like, what is going on here? You speak to him in that way. But I also think that what I learned was that over time, I learned that bad things don't happen because of him. They happen in spite of God, and that he is able to walk with us through those things.
Yeah.
He didn't look down at me and say, well, I'm going to punish Colleen and see what I can do there, and I'm going to make this hard for her. Like, he loves me and he wants what's best for me, and he wants me to survive and be on the other side of things. And so it becomes just of paramount importance that we remember that and that we are reminded of that. And when those ugly things come in and we're like, what did I do to deserve this? And I can't, that we have to remind ourselves, like, if that's not from him, right? Like, anxiety and all that, yuckiness is not from the Lord. And that's not what he wants from us. Yeah. And so that's one thing I learned. And I think, I really learned that I belong to him. I'm his daughter, and that he's seeking me. He is wanting me. And over again, I found how he was so within every step of our journey and my journey.
I love that. I think it's really easy to, like you said, yell and be angry at God and feel like that's bad. But the Bible, as we've talked about before, is full of stories of people who are angry and shaking a fist at God. And God doesn't run away from that. God shows up in the pain, in the mess. it seems like when everything is broken, that's when God shows up in super real and tangible ways. So I like what you were saying about sometimes we're like, well, everything happens for a reason, which kind of implies that like God did it all.
No.
And I don't think that's how that works. I think God can use anything to bring life out of it. But I think God
Yeah.
first shows up in the mess and says, this sucks. I'm sorry. And I'm going to be
Yes.
with you.
And it's
And I,
that concept of, yeah, sitting with you in that space.
mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's that presence that really is that game changer. That no matter what, God is with us. And that, when we were talking, that reminds me of a prayer that you brought up. Do you want to share about
Oh,
that?
yes. Want me to talk? Yes. So Chris asked me to tell you what my favorite Bible verse is. And listen, y'all, I got to be honest. I didn't really like start going to church until I was 16. My dad identifies as Buddhist. My mom's not super religious, and so I started like kind of going to church to help out in the childcare. And like I didn't have like the youth group experience, the like I didn't have any of that. And I don't have like I'm not like a learned biblical scholar, so I don't like just off the top of my head. I'm not like, oh well, Psalm 22 or whatever. I don't even know what that is. But I said, the prayer that I love the most, and not to say I don't study the Bible because I do. I can identify the area in the Bible that I love, but I'm not like I don't memorize it like perhaps some of my other friends have. Anyway, this prayer that I love, that I prayed so much during our time with Paul, and that I still continue to pray in my life, is, as it turns out, the prayer of St. Patrick. And St. Patrick was a dude that, like, I've been doing some research here, but I think he was a dude that was like kind of grew up in a lot of affluence. And he was, he was kind of a brat. And then over time, he came to know God. And what I most resonate with St. Patrick on is that he was always, as a pastor, always felt less than. Felt like, am I doing this right? Am I worthy to do this? And certainly as a speaker and trainer, I feel that all the time. Every time I do something, I think, oh, what did am I the right person in this space? And that just kind of like humility and self-doubt really like resonates with me. So the prayer of St. Patrick is, Chris, you want to tell us that?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
I love prayer.
it's entirely a prayer of remembrance that God is with us. And so it basically lays that out in the prayer. And so it says, Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ on my right, Christ on my left, Christ when I lay down, Christ when I sit up, Christ when I arise, Christ in the heart of everyone who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. And I think that's so beautiful because it's like everywhere around me, within me, through me, when I'm awake, when I'm asleep, like everywhere. Christ.
Everywhere.
There's a great song, Christ Be All Around Me, that is this prayer, basically. But I think it's so beautiful that in a time when it's really easy to sink into ourselves, to feel isolated, literally, to remember God is with us. And I think that is such a huge lesson that you're bringing to us today. That in the midst, in the pain, and the broken, God shows up.
He shows up with joy too, but I think that in the midst of the pain and the broken, we sometimes are more willing to see.
Yep. And I think that actually combines. So God showing up in the brokenness helps us see the light in the darkness. And those are those like little sparks of joy that help remind us that God's with us. So we prepared something that we'll be able to share out later, that we've created graphics that have the prayer of St. Francis. So you can use those if you want. St. Patrick, sorry. St. Francis, also
That's
cool. Different guy.
But not what we're talking about.
Yep, right. Yeah. St. Patrick. So we have a graphic that you can make the home screen on your phone, or that you can share on socials. We also have a graphic that helps you remember to pay attention for the little things that spark joy like Colleen was saying, like, what is that one thing you can do today that'll remind you, like, I'm alive and God is with me. And so if you can do those things, I think that's a really helpful reminder through all of this. So we'll be sharing those out later. But Colleen, this was awesome. We are so glad that you were here. Do you have anything else you want to share before we send them to groups?
I just want you all to know that I am so grateful that you asked me to come today, but I am so grateful to be able to be a youth leader. I get to walk in life with the 8th grade women, and I got to be honest with you. God really told me, like, you're going to join the village, and I need you to talk to that youth minister. And I was like, no, dude, like, I don't have time for that. Like, what are you talking about? And continue to pull on my heart, continue to tug at my heartstrings until finally I was like, I don't know what this means, but let's have a conversation. And Chris, I thought he was going to say, why don't you come do a speech for our youth? And I was like, oh, I could totally do that. An hour on a Sunday, it'll be great. And as it turns out, he was like, actually, you're going to be the youth group leader to the 8th graders. And I was like, no, I'm not. I am. And boy, has it been the absolute best thing one of the best things in my life this year. And just to be around you youth is just so incredible. And I'm so grateful that I answered that call. And listen, y'all, I don't always get it right. And I'm kind of rough around the edges, but I know this. God is with you. He is for you. He loves you. He seeks you out. And I'm so grateful to be in community with you to help you see that.
I think we end there because that is beautiful. Colleen,
Awesome.
Thank you for saying yes when I asked more of you than you expected. And for listening to God poking you in that direction. It has been amazing, which is so much fun. And now we finally got you to speak in front of everyone. So we did both. We made it happen.
It was great. Awesome. Well, please, let's pray for you, please.
Yes. So I was going to say, I'm going to do a couple announcements. While I'm doing that, we would love for you guys to share how we can pray for you in the comments. And then we're going to pray to close this out. So be typing those prayer requests. But while you were doing that, I just want to bring up one more thing. So we're going to share out the graphics with the prayer and then what sparks joy, just to help remind you guys throughout the week. But the other thing I wanted to remind you of, if you are just learning what this Christianity thing is, this following Jesus thing, or if you have grown up in the church but you're ready to claim it for your own, we have a 6-week crash course called Own It. ONWIT. Own It. As in, own it for yourself. And so with that, we are launching an online-only version of that starting Wednesday. If this is something you are interested in, we would like you to go to this link to learn more, and you can also sign up there. So it's thevillagenashville.com/ownit. So if you go there, you will be able to learn more about the details, what's happening, how it's working, but also sign up. So if you are interested in growing in your faith in a deeper way, having deep conversations about the Bible, who is God, prayer and disciplines, all these things we've been talking about, and really digging in, we would love for you guys to do that. So that's thevillagenashville.com/ownit. The last announcement is we are about to go to small groups once we pray. And if you are not part of a small group but you want to, we would love for you to be a part of one of those. You just have to go, once again, to thevillagenashville.com/join small group. There's a quick form, and then I will send you the link to your group. They all have Zoom calls right after this where they'll all be hanging out, checking out on each other. Colleen is one of our amazing small group leaders doing this, and so that is such an important work. So I think that's it. That's the announcements. Let's look through some of these comments. Let's see. So praying for friend Christy and her daughter just had heart surgery, maybe?
Transplant.
Yep. Oh, okay. See, you know all the lingo. I saw Texas.
Yeah, TX transplant.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I saw Texas.
The kids are saying these days. I don't know. Yeah.
Yep. Protection at work, so people still having to work, keeping them safe. The McIntyre's granddad literally has, they thought it was over with COVID-19, and he is back and has tested negative now for COVID-19 after being basically on a ventilator and thought that was it. So that is a huge praise. Super, super awesome. Click the wrong button. prayers for everyone who has the virus and are struggling. Seeing those. Do you see any more over there? I'm going to look over into YouTube.
Oh, I don't have the. Yeah, let me keep going here.
Oh, you're good.
Let's see. A raise at work and protection while at work.
Yeah.
So praise for raises at work and protection while.
Not seeing any on YouTube.
Not seeing a lot.
A lot of chatter,
Just
but
gonna
no prayer requests.
Oh, lots of chat. I can't see the YouTube chatter, but yeah.
Yeah,
we'll have to-
you're not missing. It's an
Not
interesting discussion. It's
That's
fun to
good.
watch. I tell you
Good.
what. So for our prayer, what if we do the prayer of St. Patrick?
Let's
I think
do
that's a
it.
good way to do that. So if you all will pray with us. God, may we remember that Christ is with us, Christ is before us, Christ is behind us, Christ is in us. Christ is beneath us, Christ is above us, Christ is on our right and on our left. Christ is with us when we lay down. Christ is with us when we sit down. Christ is with us when we arise. Christ is in the heart of everyone who thinks of us. Christ is in the mouth of everyone who speaks of us. Christ in the eyes that see us, and Christ in every ear that hears us. May it be so this week and beyond. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, we have loved having everybody here. Give it up for Colleen.
Thanks, guys.
If you are on YouTube, give it up for Cindy because,
Thank you.
let's see, Colleen, Cindy crushed it with ASL this week. If you were not watching it, it'll be on YouTube. You can go back and watch it. She did an amazing job. It was really, really good. She spoke so much without making a sound, which was pretty impressive. That's what she does so well. But we're going to send you guys to groups. Head over to your group me's. Yep. And we will see you guys later. Love you guys.